I shouldn't be saying this because actually all my models, I've spent ages on them, of course, because every single one is precious and dear to me.
Hi, everybody. It's been like ages, way more than the usual 3 weeks, for various reasons, including not doing anything and also me getting really busy as the world somewhat foolishly attempts to open up again.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. Suddenly had to go and like do my job and teach and
I know
do kids' grades and stuff, which was
awful, isn't it?
Horrible.
So yeah, it's been a little while since the last update, and we all got distracted by other things. Some of which have played into the project, and some of which haven't. But it's that weird point. I think we're having a chat. We're at the weird point for all of us that we're like very close to being done, which makes it, I imagine, makes it very easy to be distracted by other things. Because you're like, yeah, well, you know, if Ben announces the event next month, I'll be fine.
Yeah, I could get it done.
Yeah. That's definitely my problem.
Yeah, definitely.
Too close.
You're like, oh yeah, the deadline's like hanging there, and he hasn't actually said when it is yet. And all of us know we could get done. So
the problem for me is that I probably could get it done, but I still might not because I just don't organise my life properly.
Ever. Well, let's start with you then, Russ.
Okay.
What have you got done since our last update, if you can remember that far back?
So I'm pretty sure that I had done some work on the Marauders, but not very much. So they are now all completely finished, and they took a lot longer than they were meant to. I got a bit carried away with them. And
you were saying this is like you spent an awful lot of time painting like 10-point models.
Yeah. So they're 10-point models that I landed up painting eyeballs on. Literally to the point of, doing all the fine detail and being like, you know what would really finish this guy off? If I paint in the pupils on this Chaos Marauder and a squad of 20 who dies turn 1 most games.
I don't think I've ever painted an eyeball. That's always, since the very start of model painting, been like, nope, that's too far.
I reckon I've done it too often rather than not enough.
I tend to reserve that just for characters.
Yeah, it's too much for rank and file.
Yeah, I probably should do that. And then I'm just sitting there and it's like, these Chaos Marauders, they're such lovely old models that I want to do them justice. So I'll paint the eyeballs so he looks even better. And then it's like, gosh, now I've got to paint the eyeballs on all of them. Oh, well.
I'm someone who tends to leave helmets on my character models so that I don't have to do that.
Well, it also keeps them alive longer, obviously.
Yeah, obviously. So you've got that's the big unit of 20 Marauders.
So I've got my big unit of 20 Marauders that I'm very proud of.
Which is the biggest unit in the army, presumably.
It is, yeah. And I'm pretty sure that last update I already had the 10 Chaos Hounds done. So I've got 10 of them done, although I've got loads more sitting in a box. And I just ordered some more on eBay in order to get the last. I just ordered 7 off eBay in order to get the last 1 dog that I don't have to complete that page of the old catalogue. So now I've got, let me get this right. Now I've got in excess of another 20 unpainted Chaos Hounds. So I think I need to force myself to sell at least 10 of them because I really can't justify that many Chaos Hounds.
Also, you don't necessarily need all those for your, like, we're getting into, this is the other thing that sort of happens over the course of projects like this. You don't need those for the 1,500 points army for this.
Yeah. In fact, even if I wanted that many in there, I don't think I could fit them in and actually have an army that would work. And then I've done some work on my Chaos Warriors. So just made little bits of progress. So I've got this chap who I mostly painted back in 1992 or 3. Finished him a couple of weeks ago. So that's a 29-year paint job, I think, and one of his buddies as well. And a few more that people have seen previews of already that I've just done tiny little bits here and there. The only other thing of any note is that I've based and undercoated all of my horse riders. They're all getting like their first layer of paint on them and stuff. They're all going to get a similar treatment. They're going to get leopard spots and tiger stripes and stuff on the horses just to mark them out as a bit chaosy and tie them into the Chaos Warriors a bit as well.
You're going to do leopard print horses?
Yeah.
Brilliant. That's... I can see you rocketing through this.
Actually, you know, the crazy thing is the tiger stripes aren't very quick, But the leopard print, so the leopard spots and the cheetah spots are really quite quick. So I've done that on quite a few models. It's literally just a base coat, a wash to give some definition. And then because there's so much detail from all the spots, you'll end up not having to do too much in the way of highlighting.
Yeah.
So it's not as time consuming as you'd think, to be honest. Leopard spots in particular, I think I've figured out just my knack for doing them, that they don't take too long. Quick blitz through, do the undercoat, put the middle dot on for all the middle dots, and then just go around each of the middle dots, put in like a
U round a dot.
Yeah, but because that doesn't need to be very neat, it's really, really quick. So it looks as if you spent ages doing a load of detail. I shouldn't be saying this because actually all my models, I've spent ages on them, of course, because every single one is precious and dear to me. You know, it does look like it's taken ages, whereas it's taken a while instead of ages.
Could you do those spots with like a Sharpie or a fine liner?
I reckon you could, but it might almost look too neat and tidy. But you'd have to be really, I think you'd have to do it really, really fast if you were going to do it with like a Sharpie or like a fine liner thing. You'd have to do it deliberately fast so it didn't accidentally look too good.
So big two questions then for the update. Mm-hmm. So you're gonna how far do you think you are off getting your 1,500 points?
I reckon that if I actually had a deadline, I could get it done for the next update.
As of next week, you're on school holidays.
Yeah, exercising and painting will be my two things I need to do. And I don't like exercising, so I'll do a lot of painting. So one more update and I should, even if I'm not 100% of the way there, it'll be tabletop ready, I reckon.
Well, that's the thing, of course. Yeah, that's the other thing we're talking about, ready for an event or a tournament, isn't it? Doesn't necessarily need to be completely finished to have the army you're going to use.
Yeah, exactly. So this chap, for example, he might just have his base coats on. I played a game with an almost painted army a couple of weeks ago against Nathan's Dark Elves. Yeah, 5th edition. We did start the 4th turn, but by the 4th turn, I had my general left. And he had his entire army left.
Yeah, it's Scary Wood Elves, right? He was playing Scary Wood Elves with lots of shooting.
Scary Dark Elves.
Scary Dark Elves with lots of shooting things.
Yeah, so he killed my entire army without a single thing dying.
It's encouraging for the event. That, like, I know there's going to be a couple of armies there where I was like, yeah, I've just bought something silly. And you've bought like a really good 1,500 point 5th edition army with all the tricks.
Yeah. Well, partly it's because we used very little cover because we were just like, let's just learn the rules. And then we realised, but we only got to practice the shooting rules, not the combat ones.
And presumably the morale rules were practiced really well.
Yeah. But I did learn a few things, like make sure that, so for example, when I'm positioning my general in my unit, make sure I shift him off to the left-hand side so that my other unit of dogs is within 12 inches as well.
Final big question for the update, I suppose, is a few episodes ago, we initiated the Mystery Wheel Challenge. And I've got some news about mine. How is your Mystery Wheel Challenge?
Well, he exists.
Hey,
there we go.
So Skeletor Wizard.
I built the model.
Hey,
and undercoated it, and I've painted his skin blue, obviously,
which is the correct color.
Yeah, and he is going to be basic purple clothes, yellow face, maybe black helmet or whatever. He's going to be painted in a nice typical Skeletor scheme, as befits his Skeletor ways.
Brilliant. So Mystery Wheel Challenge is well on its way.
It is.
With that, I will hand over to Bobbie. How's your Mystery Wheel Challenge going, Bobbie?
Well, relocated. It's no longer at that end of my desk. It's sat in a pile over there. Unfortunately, hasn't got any more paint on it than last time.
Yours is spooky houses, right?
Yeah, I'm just doing it terrain pieces that are thematic with undeads, which obviously is mausoleums.
How about the wider army? Because I think last time you got most of your actual units done.
Yeah, I think last time I had all 4 of my core regiments done. Still got to paint shields for my Graveguard. Started building a miniature for my vampire.
Oh, cool.
Converting one of the old Bretonian sorceresses because I wanted a lady vampire. There's not been many good Citadel lady vampires, so I thought use one of the nice looking female miniatures and make her.
It's more difficult, isn't it, when it's one of the classics? Because obviously they're just releasing really good lady vampires, but they're obviously 3 times the size. And
using the old sorceress miniature and changed her sword for a more. It's from another old undead mini, the sword. She's holding some heads and doing vampire thing.
Yeah.
I want to do some more resculpting. I'm tempted to do some resculpting of the face, give her fangs, but I'm shying away from that, even though it's something I want to do. I've still I've still got 2 bat swarms to build for this army, and then I'm done. I realized that's pretty much where I was last time. I did actually manage to a little task. I had my my army sat on the end of my painting desk, and I just kept finding that every time I would knock the desk or bump one of the miniatures, especially the plastic zombies, that half the regiment would fall over. So I've gone and magnetized my regiment trays. Because obviously you can still take the minis off because it's only a light magnet, but it's enough to hold the zombies on. It's a boost to gravity to helping the metal minis stay upright. It's just a real kind of comfort move to make playing the game easier.
Everyone's doing magnetized bases.
Big quality of life improvement.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to put magnets on them all for putting into a storage box to transport them anyway. So it was, I mean, it took a few minutes to throw together some movement trays with some rubberized steel sheet on the bottom.
Are you going to do the really useful box?
Yeah, they're already.
Yeah.
I mean,
Same plan. Yeah,
I need to do that. I just haven't gotten around to anything like that yet. Yeah,
they're already sat in one. Yeah.
Oh yeah. That's what I need to do.
I've always shied away from it just because it. Most of the model armies I'm doing are solid, quite chunky, solid metal models.
Probably want to start adding more than one magnet onto the bottom of it. I do that for bigger models anyway.
I was going to say the same because for this army, because it's entirely metal apart from the old plastic horses. Yeah, it wouldn't survive in a really useful box. But my Nighthorn army, my plan is to really useful box them. Just for models like a Lady Olinda as well, just trying to fit her in a KR case around the foam and have room for anything else just feels like a complete no, don't want to do that.
A lot of modern sculpts have got a lot of spindly bits, that love getting caught in foam and breaking off.
It's a lovely, lovely model, but I don't want to try and transport it around in a foam case. Much as I love my KR cases, it's not good for my Nighthorn.
So you're relatively close to having your 1,500 points.
The bats I could probably build in an evening, and painting those isn't going to take very long. Vampire, I might try and spend a little bit longer, but I think I could be done in a week if I really had to, and that wouldn't be a struggle. The rest of the army, I think I touched up. I've got like 3,500 points worth now. I didn't have any when I started this project, so it's really gone out of control. When they're going to get finished, I have very little idea.
What about you, Gary? You've had a bit of you've gone. I thought you were going to stick to a pretty concise group of models, and you were like, "That's what I'm painting, and that's what it's done." And then the last few months have thrown that plan to the wind.
Yeah. So the Dominion leaked, or the trailer. Sorry, the Dominion trailer came out.
And Age of Sigmar 3.
Yeah, and everybody was like, "Oh, swamp creatures coming! It's got to be Fimar!" And like that was very exciting. Then the orcs came, and it was a big disappointment. But I need orcs and goblins, and these are swamp orcs and swamp goblins. So yeah, I got some of those, and I'm going to push those into the army.
Yeah, because we were having that conversation a few months ago about obviously in order to take things like rock lob, basically in order to take a load of options in a 5th edition army, if you're using the Chimeras, ogres, or trolls, you need some sort of orcs and goblins to get leaders and things.
Yeah, so to unlock the rock lobber, you need a 1 unit of orcs. So the minimum size, I think, is 10. And to unlock the bolt throwers, which I want some of, you have to have 1 unit of goblins. 10 of each would unlock both. So I got them. Big scare shields don't fit in with the theme at all, and the top knots, and they look kind of fancy. Yes, I got them. I took all the fancy bits off, filed away everything that wasn't needed, and now they're looking a bit more peasant-y. I've given them Celtic shields to match the Celtic sort of basing, and they're tying in okay. Hopefully they don't stand out too much.
And you started painting them?
Yeah, so I'm halfway through the first 10. For the 1,500, I'm only going to paint 10, make up 1 or 2 rock lobbers, and then fiddle around with the dragon, the ogres, orcs. That is 1,500 really. My to-do list now is finish the dragon, which is about 20% painted.
Yeah, last time we checked in, you just finished sculpting it.
Yeah, so for the next 2 weeks, I just kept sculpting. I just kept going back over things, like taking off parts of the cloak which didn't sit right, doing it again. He fell off the dragon a few times. I was like, right, that magnet needs to be bigger. So I had to remove half the pelt, put a couple more magnets in there. So now he's really secure. I just faffed around a lot. It's almost like I didn't want it to be done.
Because then you'd have to paint it.
Yeah. So then I got the priming done. That was a big milestone. And then I pushed it in the corner for another 2 weeks. Just leave it. It's just one of those things. I'm not sure if it will get done until I've got a deadline. So he's about 20-30% painted. And then I moved on to the orcs. So the orcs are nearly done. Basically finish those orcs, do the rock lobbers, then back on the dragon, and I'm done.
With the orc, you've made square bases and then have round base adapters?
Yeah, so they've got 25 mil bases for 5th edition, but Age of Sigmar, they come on 32 round. But you can buy adapters on eBay, which just plug on the bottom, increases it to the right size. And I've just put a little bit more detailing around the edge of the adapter to disguise it a bit. But yeah.
You can see that there's an adapter on them, but it looks like it fits when they're on them. And that's what matters, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very obvious that it's not the original base.
Yeah.
The square pokes out the corners a little bit, just where the 40 mil doesn't sit inside a 32 mil circle. But I figure if I put even more static grass on that, I'll kind of hide it a little bit more.
You've got a whole Dominion half, or you've got 2 whole Dominion halves.
Yeah, so I bought 1 box and I traded away the Stormcast. It comes with big beasties, but I don't think I'm going to use them for this army. They just don't really fit anywhere, so I'll either trade those or...
I've got half of an Indomitus Necron thing where I got rid of all the basic warriors and kept all the big ones because I was like, yeah, big robot things. I'll find a use for a big robot thing.
Yeah. In the future, I could put like some chaos thing on it. These big beasties will find use.
Interesting to see how easy it is to convert a Cruel Boy to a Famir, especially one of the bigger ones, one of the leading ones.
Well, they've got really short legs, and you don't want those anyway. So it might be a good place to cut.
So you're again pretty close to having a 1500, if not maybe pretty close to having painted all the models. And your mystery challenge was the dragon anyway, so that's like a wash.
He'll happen when he gets done.
Okay, well, one of the reasons we're late on this is because I've been ridiculously busy because the entire world wants to open again, and that means every project I was working on before lockdown suddenly wanted to happen at once, which is why everything's delayed a bit for me. But in the last update, I think I just finished basing and varnishing on green square bases the 1500 point army I need for this.
Go off.
I know, right? Because the whole thing's a massive batch paint and it's actually really quick to do. My progress essentially the next week was that I got my resin round bases cast, resin round slotter bases that I use for my 40k and Age of Sigmar models, and all of the rest of the bloodletters and the rest of the demons and the rest of the models I glued onto those and finished those. So now I've got the 24-ish models on square bases done, and then another 40-50-ish on round bases, which aren't for this event, but at least it means that all the bloodletter, all that batch of like red and skin color sprayed stuff is now done. Then also those were the bases, they're the same bases that the Chaos Marines go on. So while I was doing it, I also put all the Chaos Khorne models on their bases and varnished them. So I'm in the position of having now the army done for this and all the extra bloodletters on their bases and the Mystery Wheel Challenge, which was this one Chaos Khorne Lord on a Juggernaut. He's done. And so are all the models that go with him, which is 3 squads of 8 Khorne Berserkers, half of 20 of which I'd already painted. I just needed to rebase. So it was another 10 Khorne Berserkers. 5 Khorne Terminators and Zufor the Impaler.
What are you going to do for the next update?
So this is the thing, right? So I have got some extra things that I need to paint. When I was painting that one Juggernaut, that big chunky old 90s metal Juggernaut, I painted 3 of them. And the idea is to add to the Age of Sigmar army is to have 3 Blood Crushers, which aren't a thing. They're sort of a thing in 5th edition, but not really. And the way I'll do those is I'm going to have to take some spare blood letters, chop them at the waist and put plastic blood crusher legs on them to fit on the Juggernauts. So I think that might be the next update, might be something. And I've also got one more Bloodthirster that I might put on a 60mm Age of Sigmar place. Same old Bloodthirster. It's the one with a different head and a different body. There's 2 bodies. One's like that, and the other one's like that. So
yeah,
I've got the
There's
other
no
body.
way you can bring 2 to a game, right?
Not of this size, don't worry. But in 40k nowadays, yeah, you can bring 4 and it isn't even 1,000 points or something, I would imagine. So I might have to ask you, so originally I was going to do the second Bloodthirster with a great big axe, repose his arms, but actually I'm not sure I've got the bits for it. So I thought, so I wondered actually, where did you get your old-fashioned looking flails from? Because the other option for a Bloodthirster is axe and flail rather than axe and whip. Because you got
the ones on these guys.
Yeah, Are they from those guys? You just put chain in.
So yeah, these guys come with their like a mace.
Oh, I
And I
see.
just cut the top off the mace, and the chain is, I think it might be from the Chaos Rhino sprue,
Got loads
which I'm
of those.
sure you've got loads
Yeah,
of.
tons of those. So the next update might be just finishing off the few remaining bloodletters by essentially building some Juggernaut Riders and a Bloodthirster.
So for this, you're going to do, instead of, like, we've all done an army, but you're going to do a 5th edition army, an AOS army, and a 40k army.
Yeah, that's true.
So you're going to do as many armies on your own as the rest of us put together.
I mean, they are all mostly the same model, and I'm not painting any eyeballs.
Oh yeah, that does help a little bit.
That saves 3 months anyway.
It does help a little
That's
bit.
where all the time saving is.
I've enjoyed this, but I can't remember if we had this discussion on one of these videos or not, so you can cut it if we have. I have a theory about my own painting, is that I sometimes paint models that together make up an army, and sometimes just paint armies.
Yeah.
So I did a Mantis Warriors army, Badab army, and I did that, I think, in just a few months of blitzing it, and landed up doing a whole demi company with an extra like element of support. And that was, I painted an army, and in that army, people didn't get eyeballs painted. But for this one, it was like, I love the model so much, I wanted to paint the individual models. I just had to try and tie them in to turn it into an army. And I think I want my next thing to be, I want to paint an army.
Yeah.
And then maybe the thing after that, I'll be back to painting models to go. I just feel like I maybe alternate between model painting and army painting as a way of keeping myself sane, you know?
I know what you mean. Yeah, my squats are a similar thing, that painting 10 squats is a palette cleanser between big army projects.
Sometimes you can get fatigued if you look at the same thing. I mean, I took a little break in the middle of this and did the pod racing thing. You know, like if you need to take a week off or so, it's good to just.
I think I should have taken a bit of time off in this one. I think I've got stuck and focused on this, and I might actually have gone faster if I just said, no, you're allowed to paint a Space Marine in the middle. Yeah.
But Bobbie's done big smashy robots and stuff, so.
Yeah.
He's done loads.
I've painted a bunch of robots. I did a conversion of, I'm sat here, putting Abaddon the Betrayer into the Nova Marines first company captain. Name has just escaped me.
Anton Narvaez, is it? No,
that's Elim no, that's the one who comes down on wings of fire.
Yeah, that's the guy who becomes the Legion of the Damned.
Yeah,
Mordecai Blaylock.
Mordecai Blaylock.
Painted him up pretty quickly. Yeah, I got very distracted with things, but that's just how I work on things.
Yeah, you're still a lot closer to the end than I am.
And I'm now looking at doing like some orcs, 40k orc. The new rules look fun.
The big snagger ones.
I think I'm going to go. I've been working slowly on some Goths, doing like a Storm Boys with some Dakar Jets, and now that Death Copters are back on the menu.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, they're bringing out a multi-part kit for the Death Copters.
Yeah, but like only 20 years after they released the first plastic Death Copter.
Yeah.
In the box set,
yeah, which has never been available since.
But that sounds like it'd be a kind of a fun army.
If we don't find out when we're going to do this event before October, at least you've got that deadline.
Yeah.
But who knows what might happen. I think Warhammer World have started opening up, so we might get some news. Until then, hopefully it won't be as long until the next update, and we'll all be extremely close. And then Ben will go, we're doing this. The event will be announced, and we can actually line up like Brian Ansell and take our classic army photos.
Perfect.
I'm looking forward to that.
Cool. Thanks, everybody. See you next time.
See you later.
See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.